Hello everyone. Welcome to our English class today. Well, in today's class, we are going to learn framing WH questions and the syllabus reference is supplementary reader, all the units from supplementary reader. So the first idea what you have to do is when you get the question, you have to read the sentence and identify the tense and focus on the keyword and find out whether it's a place or a time or event. If it's a place, you will ask the question with WH and especially it is where. And if it is time, it is when. And if it is event, you should ask a question with event or thing, it's what. And maybe if it's a purpose, you have to ask the question with why. So here are the WH question words. Who, we ask for persons. What for things or events. When for time, where for places, and why for reason or purpose, and then how for manner. So by means, or you can ask about the quantity or the quality. So now let's see what are the various ways we can see. Here now, who, as I told you, will use ask for persons or people, what for thing or idea or event or action, where it's for place, when it's for time, why it's for reason, so how it's for by means or quality or quantity. So you have to read the sentence and then you have to find out whether the keyword or underlined word is a person or a people. Based on that, you have to use the proper question word. And then once you have read the entire sentence, then you can easily identify after identifying the tense, you can do that. Now, here is one example for you. Sudha went to Inorbit Mall last Sunday with her friends. They spent there for 2 hours. She bought sports shoes and t-shirts. They watched Big Bang movie. They reached home at 10:30. So once you have read the entire idea, now you have to identify the tense. After that, you have to focus on the keyword that's underlined word. For example, if you look at the first sentence, it is Sudha went to Inorbit Mall last Sunday. Okay. Now, if you look at here, and we know that went it is simple past tense. So you have to follow the sentence structure WH plus did, subject plus V1 plus object. So the first one, Sudha went to Inorbit Mall, and you have to divide that went into did plus go so that it will be very easy for you, so that you can frame. So the keyword is mall, it's a place. So the question word begins with where. Where did Sudha go? And then Madhu went to US in 2023. So here time reference is in 23. So it is time. So the question should begin with when, and it's obviously past tense. So when did Madhu go to US? She bought shoes and t-shirts. So bought is did plus buy, and then you have to think shoes is thing. So you can ask what did she buy? Swami Vivekananda gave speeches. Here the keyword is a person. So the question begins with who. And the next one is Raja went to bank to deposit money. So then it's a purpose. So you can ask why. So now let's look into detail. So here is the first keyword. She went to Inorbit Mall. So it is simple past tense. And then we are asking about the Inorbit Mall is our keyword. So the question would be where did Sudha go last Sunday? Now the next one is they spent for 2 hours. The keyword is 2 hours. So you can ask how much time did they spend there? So the third one is she bought shoes and t-shirts. So the question would be what did she buy? Okay. So now let's look at another, the fourth one. They watched Big Bang movie. So here, Big Bang movie. So now the question would be, it should begin with, which movie did they watch? So the next one is, they reached home at 10:30 p.m. So 10:30 is the keyword, so it's time. So the question should begin with, when did they reach home? So this is how we can frame questions after identifying the tense. Now here is another, like helpline to identify the tense. And if it is simple present tense, we may make some errors. So the best idea is, the question would be WH plus do plus subject plus V1. But if it is uh, eats, if you find the sentence eats the verb, then the question would be does plus eat. So what does she eat? So now we have divided clearly. I write. So I write means nothing but do plus write. So the question would be, do I write or where do I write? You write. So you do plus write. Do you write? Where do you write? He writes. This is the area where we are talking. He writes means you have to divide that into does plus write. So the question would be very clear. Does he write? So now, who is used for persons? So use who when you want information about a person. So here are some questions like, who is your favorite hero? And who told you or who asked you or who gave you? So we use who for persons. Now whom, we use whom when the person is in the objective case. For example, whom do you like in your family? I met the CM in Vizag. So then whom did you meet in Vizag? This is how you have to ask questions with whom. Now, what is used for things and events? We use what when you want information about a thing. So, what did you do last night? What did you do every day? What happened? So, these are the questions. Now, when you want to information about the time or something happens, you should ask the question with when. So, when does he play games? When did you meet her? So, when is your birthday? So where for places, use where when you want information about a place. So where do you live? Where was he born? Where is your friend's house? So why is for reason and for purpose. So use why when you want to know the reason for something. Why are you so sad today? Why did you bring your mobile? So why do you come to school? So how for manner or by means. Here, use how when you want to know the way in which something is done, or when you want to know the quality or quantity. How many friends do you have? How much money does she have? And how are you feeling today? How is your mom? So now here is the question that what we have taken from our lesson. So read the following passage carefully, focusing on the underlined parts. The expected call came within a few days. Mrs. Pumphrey was distraught. Tricky would eat nothing, refused even his favorite dishes, and besides, he had bouts of vomiting. He spent all his time lying on a rug, panting. Didn't want to go for walks, didn't want to do anything. I had made my plans in advance. The only way was to get Tricky out of the house for a period. I suggested that he be hospitalized for about a fortnight to be kept under observation. So now frame WH questions to get the underlined parts as answers. So you have to identify the tense as I told you, and after that you have to focus on the keyword. First of all, to find whether it is when or where or how or why. So you have to read again and again. Now, the keyword is was drought. It is about the condition, distraught. So how was Mrs. Humphrey? The next one is refuse his favorite dishes. It's past tense. So you can say, what did Tricky refuse even? Uh, Spent all his time lying on a rug. So how did Tricky spend all his time? Okay. The next one would be to get Tricky out of the house. What was the only way? Now the next one is be hospitalized for about. So it's again a time. So you have to ask the question with how long should he be hospitalized? So hope you understood. Now let's look at another question from the second lesson. I found myself in the Maidan and sat down on a bench. The night was chilly. It was early November and a light drizzle added to my discomfort. Soon it was raining quite heavily. My shirt and pajamas stuck to my skin, and a cold wind blew the rain across my face. I went back to the bazaar and sat down in the shelter of the clock tower. The clock showed midnight. I felt for the notes. They were damp from the rain. Anil's money. In the morning, he would probably have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to the cinema, but now I had it all. I couldn't cook his meals, run to the bazaar, or learn to write whole sentences anymore. So now again, you have read this entire paragraph, and the very first sentence says, I found myself. So it is simple past tense. So now you have to focus on the keywords and you have to identify the tense. Now, let's look at a light drizzle added. So added, it is past tense. So you can say we are talking about a light drizzle. So the question would be, what added to his discomfort? It was raining quite heavily. So it's how? How was it raining? It was raining. I went back to the bazaar. So where did he go back? So he felt for the notes. What did he feel for? The next one would be couldn't cook his meals or run to the bazaar. See here, couldn't is there, so you can say what couldn't he do? So this is how, if you practice well, I'm sure that you can frame the questions very easily and you'll get all the 10 marks. The only thing is you have to practice all the questions and the paragraphs. So thank you. That's all for today and let's meet in the next class.